Hey guys, so this one is a CAS calculator using video kind of. So I'm going to show you one of the questions. Even though this question is required as like not using calculator, but I just want to use this question to show you if like the question allow you to use CAS calculator and what it looks like and how you should use it. So the question is giving you like the two intercept form, which is like the polynomials. We have like the cubic polynomials and with a linear, and then they want you to find intersections. So if the question doesn't allow you to use CAS calculator, which I'm going to show you later in another video of how we're going to solve this one by hand. But if the question is saying like, well, you can use CAS calculator, then what we do need to do. And sometimes it wouldn't really give you the linear, it'll give you like quadratics and also ask you to find the intersections, and it's still going to use exactly the same way. So instead of using add calculators, I don't really recommend if they want you to find the intersections. I don't really recommend that one because you just need to enter so many equations and has to follow the same like the exactly structure so the CAS calculator can understand you. That is why I want, usually in this case I use graph directly. So you can see here we got graph, and then you can just put in your first either linear or your polynomials. Doesn't really matter which way. So I'm going to do the polynomials first, which is x plus 2. And then don't forget here we need to do times. Otherwise they're going to just thinking, well, you just put all equations in one part, it doesn't really understand. So then they will show like arrows over here. And then bracket x minus 1, and then the whole bracket will make it to the power of 2. So this is my first graph. So then we press enter. You can see here we already have the graph. And then we're going to press tab, and then going to give you the second. So that's going to be the new equation, the new function, and then we're just going to put our linear function in, so -3, and then don't forget times, then we have the coefficient, otherwise the coefficient not going to be showing x. So here you can see we already have this one, the intersection here, but here it doesn't. If you put your mouse, or if you actually put your like cursor over here, that doesn't really show you where the intersection is. We need to analyze this graph. So what we need to do is press menu, and then you can see analyze graph. Yeah, and then because the question is not really, if the question is asking us to find the zeros, then we press zeros, we can find intercepts. But in this case, we don't really need it. We just need to find the intersection. So that is number 4. And sometimes if the question asks you to find inflection, which is the inflection points from the other ones, remember you choose this one. So inflection and intersection are two very, very different things. Intersection is when you have two graphs and then they cross each other. That is what we call intersection. Inflection, this one is like when we have the polynomials, how your graph change in the middle way. That is my point of inflection. So that is not like, for inflection we only have one graph. For intersection we're going to have at least 2 graphs. So you need to remember that. And here, because we have 2 functions and 2 graphs, so we're looking for intersection. And how do we find intersection? We need to find the lower bound, which is we need to include both of my graph, but haven't really touched the intersection. So you can see the cross is over here. We don't really start here. We need to start somewhere a little bit before that. So that is my lower bound. And then my upper bound need to include my intersection. So you can see I can even just stop here because you can see only one intersection is happening in this 2 graph. So I can stop here. Then you can see the intersection is made over here. So that is your intersection. If the question asks you to say use CAS calculator to find your intersection, basically put this one on, you got a mark. So you don't need to worry about like when you solve this one by hand, I need to get working out, don't need. As long as you know how to use the CAS calculator, analyzing the intersection, good enough. So that is a way of using CAS calculator.